What's going on, guys? Thank y'all for joining me. This is Pharaoh, World Class Hustler Edmondson. Please like, share, and subscribe, man. This information that I'm about to drop for you guys, is rarely talked about in the trucking industry. Um, I wish more people really convey this message to other drivers because what I'm about to tell you is very important. So, like I said, man, anybody that you know is hemmed up, just show them this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Um, Two things. PSP. A lot of drivers within the past couple years up till now, for what I've been hearing, and I went through this, um, when they're leaving a job and they're putting in applications for, other trucking companies, especially if you're trying to drive regional or local, you may be coming off the road. You may have done your time 2, 3, 4+ years. And it's like, you're getting sick and tired of, living in that truck, being in that truck 3, 4, 5, even off 6, 7, 8 weeks. I know, because I've done it before when I was on I was on the road for like damn near 3 months. So, but them days are behind me. But, you're trying to apply for these companies and you're getting square up denied. You're not hearing from recruiters. You're calling recruiters, you leave a message, they're giving you the runaround, they're not picking up for somebody else, and they're saying that, hey, I'll make sure I tell them that you called and nothing going on. So a lot of people, and my thing is that a lot of drivers have had these little knickknacks, I call little charges, as I would say, on their PSP report. Come to find out, I ended up speaking to a recruiter from like Heartland Express. Won't give out his name, but shout out to him for the knowledge. He was saying that a lot of times when you guys are getting a ticket, or when you get stopped by DOT or the police, they have to record that, and it goes in your pretty much your driver inspection report. Whether or not they give you, if you get a verbal warning, that's okay, but they have to that they stop this truck. But what I've been seeing is a lot of people been getting warnings and not been getting tickets, and drivers been signing paperwork off the warnings. And I didn't know at the time, and I got hit with this because I got hit with a handheld device charge. It was like in Augusta, I-95. I was actually picking up in Pooler, Georgia. All my truck drivers, if you worked out the port or if you frequent I-95, those who know that area. Said that I had a handheld device while I was operating, the truck, and pretty much I was on, my GPS. I was pretty much exiting out of a route. He didn't give me a ticket. He wrote me a written warning. This was back in 2022, August, if I'm not mistaken. So I ain't thinking of another, because at the time, now I've never had anything on my record. Like, my driving record has been clean, spotless. I've had my CDL since 2014. So I didn't think nothing of it until last year, literally a week before my birthday in May. DOT stopped me again and claimed that I had a handheld device again on my GPS. This time, my cell phone was literally out on the phone holder on my left side, like cleaned up on the window. So I'm going back with the officer. I'm like, my phone is right here. You didn't instant. He said you were touching something on the screen, like on the window. I'm like, I'm not on a handheld. It ain't like I had it like holding on. I had my GPS. And so this time I got a ticket for it, not knowing what to do. when the court date came, because it's my first time ever going to court for traffic violation, my dumb ass ended up pleading no contest, which means that in just the things, you're not admitting charge or admitting guilt, but you're still taking the charge. So you're still going to be charged guilty, and it's still going to wind up on your record. So safety called me. They said, "Hey, it went on your NVR. It's on your record. We have to let you go." I'm like, "Fuck." So now I hired a lawyer to try to get all that, to gotta get a new court date and everything else, because I did have my day in court. So I had to go through some steps. I think like within 90 days after the court date, you have to file some type of motion to try to get a reopening of your case. The judge, well, where it was at, it was in Columbia County, which is outside of Richmond, right there by Augusta, which is where I got hit. So while I was applying for companies after I left, pretty much got fired. That's when I talked to a recruiter in Heartland. He told me, he said, "Nah, you got 2 violations of handheld, one from 23 and one from 22. I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "We look at what's called your PSP report." And I'm like, what the hell is PSP? And to be honest, the FMSCA has done a horrible job explaining what the PSP is all about and what it's for. So it's called pre-screening, the pre-screening program, where pretty much think of it as your driver resume. Everywhere that you have been in your level 1, level 2, level 3 inspection. If you've gotten stopped for, like, if you had a missing mud flap on your trailer, if you had a light out on, your rear trailer or whatever, and DOT pulls you over or whatever, even if they don't take you out of service or anything like that, they put all of that in your PSP report, man. Every freaking thing. If you have hours of service violations and shit saying that you falsified your logs, that shit is on your PSP report. Every freaking thing, when a police or DOT pulls you over, everything goes on that PSP report. And I'm hearing a lot of drivers are getting shafted. I'm hearing more drivers who've gotten hit with no seatbelt. Yeah, it's on their PSP. And what happens is when you go apply for a job, and let's say if the recruiter sends your application, some of them will instantly just run your PSP report and would just say, looking at it, and be like, "Hey, man, we not even gonna waste our time sending this to safety. We know you're going to get denied." So there's certain things that like no seatbelt. A lot of that, they look at that as if they treat your PSP, even though it's not on your MVR. And that's the slick thing with DOT, what they be doing. But I'm going to get to that a little bit later. Even though you probably have some charges that may not make to your MVR, if it's on your PSP report, they treat that as if it was on your MVR, i.e., let's say, handheld device. That is considered a moving violation as if it was on your MVR. So is not having your seatbelt. So as if you speeding 15 plus miles per hour, even though it's not on your MVR, it's on your PSP. And that's another way where it's really insurance. That's another way for insurance to shaft trucking companies and paying higher premiums. And so right now in this economy, what we're going into, a lot of trucking companies are going under. A lot of drivers are being laid off, trying to get other jobs. Certain trucking companies weren't on par on, with their drivers, probably equipment wise. If you got stuff with equipment wise or your PSP, they can, when you get applied for jobs, they won't care too much. They can chop that up to the company. But a lot of you guys, from what I've been hearing, your dispatcher's been having y'all falsifying y'all logs. Y'all been getting caught and all that other shit. And even though sometimes y'all don't get a ticket, they put it on your PSP and they put that on your record, and other companies can see that. Especially, Um, it's another way, and it's just sad that not a lot of people are telling drivers this, and they're going around wondering why they're getting denied, wondering why some people we getting denied, and they don't even tell them why, or on their PSP they happen to keep applying, and until they find out further down the line. And I want to do my due diligence and telling y'all, what's most likely what's going on. Um, it's you guys just have to watch out for that. You just got to watch out for your CSA. You got to watch out for your PSP, and of course your MVR, because your MVR only deals with traffic violations, like if you like accidents, like speeding and all that other stuff. Your PSP does with your NVR, and it goes in depth with inspections and everything else. So if you going through things with your PSP report, and let's just say you don't have too much stuff on there, like let's say if you got like possibly like 2 or 1 violation on there that's not on your MVR but is on your PSP, there are some trucking companies that will take you on. There are a couple of them that I know. It's a company called DB Sneaker. I think that's how you pronounce them. They're out of Arkansas. Um, they'll accept you. PTL, Pascal Truck Lines. If you have a handheld, if you have a seatbelt or whatever, just make sure these charges is at least 6 months to a year, like from the date where you was pretty much stopped and recorded, because a lot of companies wanted to be kind of like further down the line, and they pretty much wanted the insurance is looking at the distance between, because they're looking at it as in how often do you mess up, if you are a safe driver or if you're unsafe, um or something like that. So you want to keep a distance with your charges and what's being recorded. You don't want to do shit back to back, like you doing speeding 15 miles 1 month, and then 4 months later you get hit with a failure to maintain lane. You don't want to get hit with stuff back to back like that. You got to have some distance with your mess up, as I would say. So PTL, they'll accept you. I know Sweet Express, they out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. They'll accept you. I'm even hearing that if you get hit with a DUI and go into the SAP program, they'll even accept you coming back and stuff. So Sweet Express, that's one of them. Baylor, which is the sister company subsidiary of Werner. But from when they told me, they said they wanted my charge at least be a year old, from 2023. Even though that one, and the thing with that is when I went to court for it, they took it off. Like I was able to get what's called a rules violation. So, and it's crazy because it's these words. What happened is that, well, I'm gonna get to it towards the end. I'm gonna name the companies that will help you guys out. So Baylor is another one. Heartland Express, they'll be more willing to work with you. I don't like saying their names, but they'll accept you on because they're literally the worst of them all. Western Express. If you can avoid them, if you can get a job and not go through them, kudos to you. I do not. Nah. What's another company that can definitely help you guys out if you get in the mind? On Western Flyer Express, they can definitely check them out. Hogan, you can check them out as well. Night Transportation, check them out. I'm thinking It's a few of them. What's it? Is a RXB or RBX? Yeah, RBX. They're known for lanes for the Midwest to the Southeast. Give them a call. They can help you out. Um, it's a whole bunch of them that escapes me at this time. But those trucking companies that I just named, go ahead and apply for them, and see what they can do. Um, but I know they're usually lenient for bonehead who makes bonehead decisions. Not saying you guys are bad drivers. You guys may have just got pitched up, in a situation, and a lot of companies is just closing the door on you. And the thing is that um, mega carriers who buying up all these smaller carriers, it's a carrier's market right now, man, and it's not like a driver's market where they thirsty for drivers, because it's like 2 years ago, literally, like post COVID. It's crazy how we went through 4 years after COVID. They were hiring drivers who had who had all kinds of crap on their record, and if it was just like, I was even hearing that some company was champing down on the requirements of if you had a DUI, they were hiring drivers. And now, since it's a carrier's market and people trying to find jobs, because it's not a lot of freight moving. And that's the thing, it's not a lot of freight moving. And if you don't have contracted freight, if you're not in with no mid-size, at least to a mega carrier, you're kind of getting screwed. And they pick up the litter of what drivers they want to have on their, their company. And especially since Yellow went under, and that's what, like 30,000 drivers that pretty much was just released in the pool. You got to think about that too. 30,000 drivers, companies are looking like, ooh, we may have a big old hiring surge. And that's pretty much what it is. And because of that, companies are going under. They're like, okay, we don't have to settle for drivers who got this or may have that on their record, or even that. You even got some, especially if you're trying to get a tanker job, they'll look at you, even if you fought a charge off. Even if you fought it off, they'll be like, well, it still happened. Even if you fought it off and it's no longer on your record, it still happened, so we're not going to hire you because it happened. It makes no sense, because what was the purpose of you having your day in court or whatever? You fighting the charge off what you got, and you came out victorious. That's like you saying, well, we firing you because you had a gun charge and da 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 da, and you be like, okay, you had your day in court and you found not guilty. Well, it don't mean that it had. You be like, so yes, it's gotten that bad, y'all. It has gotten that bad, and so you guys just be careful. And one thing is, do not ever sign a written warning. Do not sign a written warning. If a police officer or a DOT officer is not going to give you a ticket or a verbal warning, these two, ticket, verbal warning, don't sign anything. And you don't have to sign it, even if you're going back and forth. Go back and forth with that DOT. Be respectful. Tell them, hey man, I can't sign a verbal a written warning. I can't. That's going to be put on my CSA. You don't have to mention PSP report, because contrary to popular belief, DOT ain't slick. They know that drivers got the driver legal plan, which that's what I have, and you can hire a lawyer. They go to court, and 9 times out of 10, drop the charges. Because at the end of the day, really, they only care about the money. They really don't even care about the charge. If there was no accident, no DUI, nobody got hurt or whatever, you really think that county cares? Fuck no, they don't. They just want the money. And DOT, they hate that because on their end, they're thinking that, oh, we are getting these people, we getting these drivers, we signing tickets and getting quotas, and thinking they can get, trying to, screw drivers over, and drivers hitting them with the remix. And so a bunch of times, and people will say that sometimes officers don't know. Fam. And my mom is a retired sheriff. They know. They know that if they can get you to sign a written warning that you cannot go to court or anything, they try to reverse that charge. And it goes on your PSP report as if it was on your MVR. So that's just something to take in there. I wanted you drivers to know that since there's no videos out there, not too many, if you got to go surf for them, you have to search particular video you need to watch, and just to find a video like a PSP and what to do, the stuff to overcome it and everything else. And also for your PSP, if you do get a ticket and if you want to dispute your charge, depending on, because I had my day in court, so I had to do this. They took it off my NVR, but they didn't take it to, and it's crazy because they didn't take it off my PSP. Now, usually if you have a driver legal plan, people, they'll help you with that. But I'm glad that I had to do it. So what happens is that when it takes off your NVR, you still have to go and get it off your PSP. So what you'll do is you'll go to the FMCSA website, .gov, and you will have to go to the data queue division. And data queuing is pretty much the information to go, and you have to say, hey, this charge right here is either it was what's it called? No, is it appended? However you pronounce that word, I'm blanking on I'm having a brain fart. To a different charge, or to a rules violation, or the charge is pretty much thrown out. You will have to go and data queue it so FMSCA can pretty much make the changes. It's crazy because they put everything else automatically on there, and then when you fight it off, you have to go and manually going get it taken off. It's just a weird way our government is, primarily FMSCA. So yeah, also make sure you data queue it when you get a charge and you go and fight that charge and you win out. If you don't have the driver legal people who can do it for you or whatever, if you have to do it, go and do it manually. Just go on data queue, the FMSCA website, data queue it. The instructions are right there. It tells you how to do it. And if you had a ticket and if you got proof on that and stuff, take a picture of it. You can upload PDF or whatever on there, and you just go from there. And I'm glad y'all, if you made it to the end of this video, glad that y'all stuck around. I'm glad I was able to drop this knowledge and help y'all. This is free knowledge. I'm not doing shit for money. I want to see all y'all thrive. So y'all make sure y'all have a good day and stay blessed. Peace.